Good afternoon. How are you? All fine? Thank you for coming here today. And so some familiar faces and some new people. So my name is Luca Filigheddu. I'm BlackBerry developer evangelist for BlackBerry. And today, together with Fowler from Foursquare, we are going to tell you something about integrating your applications with social networks. So you have your new shiny application. You're very happy. It's wonderful, fantastic. And now you have a problem. You need to, spread the word about it. You need to have people download it. You have to, you want to make numbers. You want to make money. So today we will try to see how to, to leverage our ecosystem. We have over more than 80 million users. 80 million users and over 60 million of BBM users, our big messenger platform. And also we have over 60 million BlackBerry Facebook users. So it's a huge, huge ecosystem, and it's important to understand how you can leverage this ecosystem. So how to make people know that your app exists, and so increase the numbers of downloads and the money you make. So also we have a huge social support for all our devices. So BlackBerry 10, so Playbook, so the BlackBerry OS, and so the ecosystem is really big, and we need to find a way to tell people that your app exists, and also to allow people to do way more with your app. So to integrate with social networks and to publish stuff, to publish multimedia like images, videos, status updates, and so on. So how to do this? Today we would like to show you some approaches to do this. And compared to other platforms, BlackBerry users are really very social. So 87% of people who use a BlackBerry are active social media users, compared to 63% on average in other platforms. So it's a huge difference. And at the end, if you can integrate with social networks and you can tell people that your app is cool, you can get more downloads. And on average, we have that an app that is integrated with social networks gets, on average, 15 times more downloads. So that's huge. That makes the difference, So how to do this? In the first part of the presentation, we will focus more on HTML5 and on how to integrate your WebWorks application with the social networks. And then we will try to tell you how Foursquare did it with Cascades and with our native framework. So, first of all, now you have an application, and you would like to you would allow your users to I don't know, publish a photo on Facebook or on Twitter. And so there is a problem, because first of all, you don't want to store passwords of your users. So, and also your users are not willing to tell you their user ID or their passwords. Also, it's not, if your user is posting something from your app to social networks, they want to post with their own account. So they don't want you to post with another account, an account that you create just for your app or something like this. We need to find a way to do this. And fortunately, there is a solution. And the solution is, so your user will give you access to his account, to her account, but you can't do everything. So you can do something that is what your user allows you to do, but not everything. So it's just with a car, you know. If you give the keys of your car to someone, he can do whatever he wants. But if, for example, you have a car that is provided with a valet key, so for valet parking, so you give the valet key to the for parking, to park your car, and so the driver cannot do everything. He can do just, you know, just park your car, and he cannot do much more with this key. So that's the point. It's the same. You need to, first of all, authenticate your user. So your user needs to access to a resource that needs authentication. And also, this user is allowing you to do something with his account, but not everything, just what he wants. So OAuth, who is familiar with OAuth here? Wow, so a good percentage. So OAuth is just like a valid key of the web. So it's an open standard. There are two versions, 1 and 2. It's an evolution of OpenID, and it works like this. So it doesn't use passwords, but your app can use something like authenticated tokens that can be used to do something on your behalf on social networks. So let's see how it works. So first of all, there are OAuth 1 and OAuth 2 are used by popular services. For example, OAuth 1 is used by Twitter, for example. OAuth 2 is used by Foursquare. And so they are different. Probably, well, maybe not probably, OAuth 1 is a bit more complicated, but you know, these services are still using it, and it works just fine. So the point is, first of all, you want to authenticate your user, but you don't want to do this in your app. So you say, okay, go to the service that you are going to use. For example, in this example is Twitter. So you have a page provided by Twitter where your users can insert their username and password. So Twitter can authenticate your users, and then so they can authorize your users. Your users can authorize your app to do something with their account, and then this service, in this example, Twitter, provides you with a token, and this token can be used from your app to do something. Something that is not allowed. For example, on Twitter, you can easily, without any token, without doing anything, you can access public tweets. But for example, you cannot post a status update on behalf of someone else without this token. So let's see how it works. So first of all, you have your app on the left and the service, let's say Twitter, on the right. So first of all, your app wants to, hey, service, I need you to allow me to do something for my user. And in the first step, the service doesn't know anything about my app. Then what happens is that there is a request token, and the app uses this request token to show the user a page provided by the service. The user can insert, username and password, then goes back to the app, and at this point, with the token provided, there is the authorization. So the user also authorizes to do something with the account. And the last step is the app provides, the service provides the app with 2 tokens, and these tokens must be used to access to the service again in the future. So that this process needs to be done once at least. So until the tokens are valid, the user doesn't need to do this again. Of course, your app must store these tokens. So this is an example. So you can do whatever you want with the public API. So for example, you can read the public tweets. But if you want to post a tweet on behalf of your user from your app, you need to use the tokens provided by the service. So this is okay. It's a bit complicated, probably. So OAuth 2. This is a bit easier, as you can see from the diagram. The main difference is that with OAuth 2, the service already knows that there is an app that can request services from the service. So you already go to the service, you register your app, and you say, okay, I would like to allow my users to do something, to post tweets, or to post images to Twitter or whatever. And so you already have some ideas that are provided by the service. And this way, when you request the authentication, the service already knows that they can get a request from your app. So there is one less step compared to OAuth 1. Then it's more or less similar. The user inserts a username and password. The service goes back to your app. Then you can use the information provided by the service to authorize the app by the service. And again, you get an access token. This token must be stored somewhere for future usage. This example is with Foursquare. And so public API, Kyle was telling me that you can do everything, more or less, when you retrieve data, right? But if you want to do something else, like check-in, right? You need to be authenticated. So you need the access token. So still feels complicated, but it's not actually, because there are lots of libraries ready to use. So you just need to use what's already available, open source. For example, there's a library called JS OAuth, and that's on GitHub, ready to use, and works well for OAuth 1. And there is you can get a presentation, get the links later, no problem. So a problem that sometimes happens is that when you need to go to the service and your user must insert username and password, what happens is that you have to show a web view. So you need to have a sort of child browser on top of your app that shows this web view, and so the user can authenticate, and then the service can bring your user back to your app. And a good example is Lemma, for example. It is a Twitter client for Playbook. It's open source, and everything is well documented, so you can see how to use the child browser window. This is an example. There is also on GitHub the child browser is a sample app. So everything is ready. You just need to use that in your app. So lots of samples available for WebWorks. For OAuth 1, there are some samples from Twitter, and Facebook and Foursquare also. You can find the samples on GitHub. I don't know, Foursquare was made by you, the sample?
That was Chad.
Chad, okay, okay. So, so that was just part of the story. The other part is my app school. There is BBM full of users. Why not share my app with those users? Why not telling them, wow, this app is cool, and you can download it, and just share whatever you want with your network of contacts. So with WebWorks, it's just ready. We have the APIs ready. You can easily integrate your app with BBM. You can do a lot of things. You can just send invitations to your contacts. So someone who installs your app can say, wow, it's cool. I will invite someone else to download it. Or you can update your status on BBM. You can have Splat notifications, share content, of course, messaging, and so on. So a lot of things, everything is ready. You just need to use that. This is a sample of to invite to download your app to your friends. Yeah.
Yeah, I have one question. In all BBM API, you could establish a channel between two applications. You know, the same application, two different devices. Now it's not possible anymore. Are you planning to introduce that back?
Well, I can reply. Sorry, I will check. I will check. I don't know if the plans are to reintroduce that possibility, but I will check for you definitely. Thank you. So you have the API to invite to download. So that's very easy to use. Or again, the ability to push some messages in the notifications area. So for example, something happens in your app, you can notify the user. Or again, no more. No, there was another slide. I think it was removed. So games, also for games, you know, playing alone is boring. So you know, it could be great if you can share your gaming experience with others, with your friends, or play together, for example. So yeah, so I'm talking to myself, and so together is better, and you can do that very easily. So you can, for example, chat with your friends during games. You can share your achievements, your scores, and also it's great because it's another way, in an indirect way, to share your that this game is cool, for example. So you keep posting your scores as a status updates, so your friends can see it and say, oh, wow, that game probably is cool. Let's download it. Again, you can also do something else. So you can share your gaming experience with other social networks. So, for example, you just did a great score with a game. You want to share that on Facebook, so your Facebook friends can see it, can download your app, and so it can become viral. So that's really powerful. I mean, when we say your app can be downloaded 15 times more than if it wasn't integrated with social network, that's true. Developers who try to do this really could see the benefits in terms of you know, more downloads, more money, and so on. Yeah, so you can create buzz on BBM or over the internet with social networks and so on. So you know, you can do a lot of things. Again, I like to repeat this again and again. The main point is to leverage this huge amount of users using social networks, BlackBerry users using social networks to be successful, to be more successful, to have more downloads, because definitely, you know, it makes the difference, and we have all the tools, all the APIs needed to do that. So does anyone have apps integrated already here? What kind of app, can I ask?
Video app for documentaries.
How do you share it? What do you do?
You can share it to a user and says, hi, I just watched this and this.
Wonderful. Did you see any difference? Did you see any difference before integrating it with social network, or you immediately did it?
No, it's just for BlackBerry 10, so it's not really
okay. Okay, wonderful. So there is another point, and this is really easy. You get it out of the box. So another important point is to allow users to share content from within your app. And in this case, it's really easy because you have our invocation framework. You can just leverage the applications already installed in your device. So you already have Twitter, you already have Facebook. What you can do is just use our invocation framework. You have a content, an article, a blog post, or something that you want to share. Okay, let's share it. And you just get a list of applications where you can share your content. And that's just you know, ready. This is very powerful, and you don't need to do anything. So that's just ready. You know, just use it, and lots of samples and for WebWorks and also for Cascades. Okay, so I don't know if you have any question at this stage. Otherwise, what we want to show you is how Foursquare did it. And so we are moving from WebWorks to native, but Kyle will tell you more about how they did it. And also we will show you a sample, very powerful. So you can, it's open source, so you can use it. Any question at this stage, or we can leave the question at the end if you want. Kyle.
Okay, I'm Kyle. Like Luca said, I'm the Foursquare for BlackBerry 10 developer. If you haven't used it, it's on your device already. It's a native Cascades app. And a little bit about Foursquare, just to start. We have about 25 million users, over 3 billion check-ins. So that's a lot of data for you to connect to as an application, use to make your app more contextual location-wise. Also 30 million points of interest around the globe. I found it's worked really well here. This is my first time in Amsterdam, so it was good to see how well Foursquare worked over here. In our native app, we use, even though we're a social network, we use all other social networks to make our content more viral and pull our users back into the app. If you've noticed on Twitter, when people share their check-ins to Twitter, if you follow any Foursquare users, that's a huge way of getting people back into the Foursquare app. On BB10, we use Invocation, BBM, OAuth 1, and OAuth 2. Okay, that's a long code sample, but this is the invocation. We use invocation after you check in. You have the option to share your check-in. If you want to share a tip or a venue, you can use invocation. And it uses the native invocation framework, and it uses the built-in invocation action item, which is just a wrapper that automatically throws an item that looks like a share button into your action bar. So Cascades has done a good job of packaging up the share framework as easy as possible. So really for our case, we're just sharing text. So we just throw text in the data block, add it to the action bar, and it's there. And we automatically get that screenshot on the right of all all of your already installed applications that can handle text sharing. It's a great way to share links with users and get them back into your app. And bonus points at the bottom. You can register your own app as an invocation target for text, so you show up in that list as well. So if you want other apps to be able to share with you and make your app more social that way. We also use BBM. This status from OS 7 or OS 6 when we released BBM connected support there. So we'll see how that translates to BB10, but I assume it's going to be the exact same. The first day we launched the app with BBM connectedness, we had over 200,000 downloads, which was a huge jump, and it's been a great feature for us to add. So everyone should connect to BBM just because of the social nature of BBM and BlackBerry users in general. So you keep your app at the front of people's mind. Every time I open BBM, everybody's status says where they checked in last at Foursquare. And clicking on that takes you right into the app. So it's a huge benefit. And as you can see, updating your profile status is 2 lines of code once you've connected. So it's very low cost of development to get this out to other users. We also use Twitter and Facebook. You can see the screenshot over there. If you haven't used the app yet, you have toggles to share to Facebook, Twitter, BBM every time you check in. On our side, Facebook and Twitter are handled on our back-end servers, and the client is really just a thin client to get the tokens with OAuth, sort of like Luca was talking about earlier. And then we send the tokens back. One benefits to this is that you get a centralized place to handle all of your sharing, which is good. So you can just have a single code base and you can manage all of that from one place. And you can also automate sharing. Like we have settings in Foursquare where if you check in a certain place, it'll automatically tweet your badge updates. So you can't really. You could do it from the client side, but it would require a lot more work than having a central notification place where you can send out updates from. Let's see. So with Twitter, we use OAuth 1, like Luca was talking about. In the Foursquare native app, we use XAuth, which is a subset of OAuth 1, which actually takes a username and password instead of using a web view. So we use that inside the Foursquare app. There's an open source library, which I gave a more in-depth talk about at BlackBerry World last year, so that should be online if you're interested in the library. That's on the BlackBerry GitHub. And it's just a OAuth library for native Qt developers. Small sample there. There's slots for all of or signals for all of the parts of the authentication to get your temporary tokens, to get your authorization tokens, and then finally to get your access tokens. Then Facebook, we use in the app, we use a WebView wrapper for their OAuth 2 page. Just you basically use a WebView, you pass in your client ID to the URL, and then you listen to navigation events in the web view. Wait till it has the token, and then you know if the user's authenticated, if there's a token, in which you parse the token out of the URL response, and you have a Facebook connected user. And Cascades makes this really simple. Basically, if you, I don't know what the laser pointer is, really you just need to process the URL string. And you can do that all in a very small amount of code. So I have a sample. The invocation framework also had made it really easy for us to build in OAuth support into the Foursquare app. So instead of you having to roll your own WebView wrapper, handle the parsing, handle the tokens, we built in an SSO, or that's what we're calling the OAuth wrapper, where you just pass in your client ID. We'll handle the user's authentication if they're already logged into Foursquare on the device, and we'll just pass you back an access token. So this is a sample app that's on GitHub, on the Foursquare GitHub. I don't have a link for it, but I will, if you want it, I'll show you where to go to get it. It's a whole sample app. So here, this screen is inside the Foursquare app. So it uses cards. You don't have to build any UI around it. It handles all the errors for you. So it's a very lightweight way to do OAuth. So here, I'm already logged in on the device, so it knows that this user is trying to authenticate. I'll hit allow. It'll call back straight to your app with the access token. So you don't even need to leave the context of your app, go to a login page, have the user come back to your app. You just get this right away, and it just returns your access token. And there you can use that to share, post, do whatever you want. And that is all I have.
That's
Luca?
really cool. This latest example is just cool because you don't have to do anything. So it's just you get it out of the box. Foursquare is installed already in the BlackBerry Z10. So that's just very easy. And if it's installed, you are likely using it, probably.
So you should push Twitter and Facebook to build something like this into their apps as well. So everybody can have easy OAuth.
Yeah.
So is the Foursquare app on the app world as well? Because on my dev alpha, it doesn't have any pre-installed apps like Facebook, Twitter, etc. So
Yes. It's not in app world for the dev alpha. I can make it available for the dev alpha if there's interest. Okay, yeah, I didn't have a chance to test on the dev alpha, so I didn't want to put it in there. But if there's interest, I will put it in the app.
The point is that those applications like Twitter, Facebook, there was lots of ongoing discussions on Twitter or blogs that the Twitter, Facebook, Foursquare are available just for the Z10, not for the dev alpha. I don't know if something will change. Probably.
We can make it available for the dev alpha.
Make sure you can. make sure you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're saying all the invocation is already in the example library. Do you have that published on a website somewhere?
Yeah.
Or other development environments?
I don't have samples for.
Samples, schemas.
Yeah, the schemas are all in the Foursquare GitHub, which is github.com/Foursquare. And then it's Foursquare BB10 SDK is the project.
Do you have a slide on it?
I don't. I don't know if there's a web browser. I could pull it up.
You can try to use the phone, probably.
Oh.
If you want. I don't know.
Yeah.
No. I don't know. If you have a web browser, we can we
come
use
up
the web
afterwards
browser
and I'll show
laptop?
you. I'll show you where it is.
Probably we can. If you switch, we can use the web browser in the laptop.
Okay.
Try that.
Okay. Oh, that's not good. Too many libraries. Okay. So let's keep it quick. Yeah, so you can see there's a ton more stuff you can do with the Foursquare app, but that's the code for the authorization. Very simple. It's a target with the action, and the data is just your client ID. So it's very simple.
Of course, you have to go to Foursquare and to get the client ID first.
Right.
That's. Any other question? Wonderful. Thank you very much. Thanks.